Welcome back to my channel, Star Booze.
The enigma surrounding Audie Murphy has been resolved. That is not good. The birth of Audie Murphy. Leon Murphy was heard on June 20th, 1925, in Texas, Kingston. Murphy came in at number 7, two of EMTT and Josie's 12 children Belle. Murphy, a family, engaged in sharecropping, struggling to make ends meet throughout the Great Depression. His father left him. When Audie was still a boy, the family at the age of 16, his mother passed away. Years old, without a parent and with just a Murphy's 5th grade education, was compelled to should drop out of school and take on different strange jobs in order to provide for his younger siblings. These difficult formative years influenced his character, giving him a feeling of accountability, persistence, and tenacity that would eventually define his life. In 1942, Murphy joined the U.S. Army, following the Navy's rejection and Marine Corps for its lack of size and underweight. Just 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing slightly more than 110 pounds, he was an odd contender for combat splendor, but his physical size concealed his extraordinary bravery and leadership. During World War III, Murphy distinguished himself in campaigns in Italy, North Africa, Germany, and France. He immediately gained renown for valor, strategic genius, and unwavering commitment to his comrades in arms. On 26 January 1945, Murphy, close to Holzer, France, independently prevented an entire German troops company for more than an hour in spite of being injured and outgunned. He ascended a flaming tank destroyer and opened fire with its .50 caliber machine gun to destroy the enemy's troops, requesting simultaneous artillery strikes time. This extraordinary act of bravery obtained the Medal of Honor for him, the greatest U.S. military honor at only 19 years old. When the war was over, Murphy having won all of the U.S. combat awards for bravery that was available at the time, such as 2 recipients of the Distinguished Service Cross, the Bronze Star, Silver Stars, and 3 Hearts, in purple. Overall, he was given 33 honors and decorations from the United States and Allied countries, which makes him the American soldier with the highest honors of World War II, post-conflict, and Hollywood career. Going back home, Murphy, a national hero, endured severe hardship. With war's psychological toll, has suffered from what was formerly known as battle weariness is now understood to be PTSD, stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. In spite of these internal conflicts, he employed his notoriety to increase veterans' awareness problems and the importance of mental health assistance, turning into one of the first public personalities to freely discuss the combat's emotional toll. Murphy switched to a Hollywood career, where his acting career took off. He appeared in almost 40 movies, the majority of which in particular To Hell and Back, 1955, a combat movie that is based on his actual life-eponymous memoir. In an uncommon, and Murphy gave a strong showing, reenacting his own wartime experiences. For the big screen, the movie was a big office success and solidified his distinction as a combat hero and A-movie star. Even though he frequently performed parts in battle dramas and westerns, Murphy, he never considered himself a terrific actor. Acted with the same humility that defined his whole existence. He also experimented with writing songs and numerous western and country tunes. Some, they were recorded by well-known musicians of day, such as Dean Martin and Charlie Pride. The rising star in 1957, Murphy secured a noteworthy position in the Utica, child from the iconic Western Night section, displaying the screen alongside James Stewart and Dan, 2 great actors, Duryea. This movie represented a significant event in Murphy's career, demonstrating his capacity to stand up alongside some of the most well-known figures in Hollywood and solidifying his position in the popular genre in the West that was the time it captivated viewers. The 1959 turned out to be a tremendously Murphy's defining and prolific time. He wowed the audience in not just one but three distinct westerns, each showcasing a distinctive aspect of his talent for acting. Within the Wild and the Murphy, Innocent starred across from the Sandra Dee, who is pleasant, on-screen chemistry bringing new vitality to the story of Innocent's meeting wilderness. In addition to his acting, Murphy took in the background as an uncredited stark black-and-white co-producer conflict cast along shadow, working together beside the well-known Walter Mirisch, a collaboration that showed his growing impact on Hollywood outside of merely acting. However, Noame was On the Bullet, an instructive and thrilling movie in which Murphy played a hired killer for which reviewers actually paid attention. Much praise was given to the film, acclaimed for its evocative narrative and Murphy's powerful, multi-layered performance, which enhanced his repute as an engaging and adaptable prominent figure in the canon of Western art. Murphy's abilities were not limited just to the large screen. In 1960, he captured the attention of television viewers as well, accompanying the renowned Thelma Ritter in a Startime episode called The Man. This appearance demonstrated Murphy's charisma and ease in the television as a new medium, increasing his appeal to a far larger viewers. In addition to his acting career, Murphy's civic engagement and patriotism was evident in the initial 1960s, when he contributed his skills, time, and using celebrity endorsements to help the U.S. The Big Picture televised by the Army series. 3 instances in which he not only showed up, but also functioned as a reliable, notwithstanding the military's attempts to converse with the general public. His in 1960 commitment was acknowledged when he received the Honorable Medal for Outstanding Civilian Service. The episode Broken Bridge was the high point, wherein Murphy visited military installations in Italy, Germany, the American Southwest, and Turkey in New Mexico, displaying innovative military equipment and technology, thereby combining amusement with practical relevance. In this period, Murphy's inventive partnerships flourished, particularly with author Claire Huffer, who wrote the scripts for 2 of Murphy's most important films from 1961, including 7 Ways from Sundown and Posey from Hell. These initiatives confirmed Murphy's position as a top character in Western films, collaborating with talented narrative artists who created stories that are ideal for his stuff yet sophisticated design. An additional, influential collaboration with Willard W. Willingham and Mary, his spouse. Willingham, with whom he got close alongside Murphy during his formative years. In Hollywood, they set out together on a number of initiatives that demonstrated a vibrant synergy in the workplace. Willard created Murphy's television show from 1961, Smith Whispering, and co-wrote The Battle at Bloody Beach's script that year, combining gritty narrative with exciting action. Their cooperation persisted through Bullet for a Bad Man in the middle of the 1960s Arizona Raiders in 1965 and 1964, 2 movies that helped to clarify Murphy's heritage within the Western genre. Together, the Willinghams created the Gunpoint's script and authored the 40 Guns to Apache Pass script in 1967, which would mark Murphy's last major role. Star of a Western movie. Murphy even broadened his perspectives globally by Trunk to Cairo was filmed in Israel in 1966, demonstrating his readiness to take on varied and demanding responsibilities that go beyond conventional American environments. Among the most important connections in Murphy's professional relationship with Bud Bodesher, the director started in a surprising location, a boxing facility. Murphy had asked to participate in Bodker's boxing partner at the athletic club of Terry Hunt's, an interaction that inspired a creative collaboration that lasted for almost 20 years. Murphy ended up starring in the title as a result. Barrackers Firsted, Western's part, the Kid Cimarron in 1951, a movie that would serve as the basis for upcoming partnerships. Their connection persisted, and Bicker penned the A Time for Dying's script, which would be Murphy's final movie, a moving culmination of their extensive professional connection. Despite their intentions to work together on 2 more initiatives, A-Orse, 4, When There's Something to Do, and Mr. Barnum Take Action. Unfortunately, these movies never came out to be realized, leaving admirers to ponder what perhaps if the two had persisted, their artistic process. Murphy's Audie personal life was characterized by happiness and turbulence indicative of the difficulties off the battlefield he faced. In 1949, he married an actress at some point, Hendris Wanda. Wanda was a famous Hollywood personality who has made appearances in a number of movies from the 1940s and the early 1950s. The attraction between their marriage and significant media attention, thanks in part to Murphy's growing notoriety as among the most honored Americans, World War II fighting troops, and owing in part to Wanda's Hollywood career was climbing. In spite of their prominent position, their union was full with difficulties. The strains off life in Hollywood, Murphy's continuous battles with PTSD after his wartime experiences, as well as the innate challenges in running a public, their marriage was affected by their romance over time. After 2 years of trying in order for their relationship to succeed, they divorced in 1951. This concluded the chapter that had been a romantic pursuit as well as a public display. Surprisingly, just 4 days following his split from Wanda, Murphy and Hendricks were finalized, remarried. This second union was to former airline employee Pamela Opal. Lee Archer, a stewardess with a composed manner and a solid personality, offered a sharpen contrast to the glitz and chaos of Murphy's initial union. Pamela, as well as the link between Audie and their choice to get married so quickly following his divorce, which showed both the Murphy's sense of urgency and intensity, seek family life and stability in the middle of the turmoil of his own problems. Pamela provided some normalcy and assistance to Murphy's life, which he in dire need. Audie Murphy together and Archer, Pamela Opal Lee constructed a family that served as the foundation for Murphy's later years. They had 2 boys, James Shannon and Terry Michael. Terry, 1952, saw the birth of Michael Murphy, and would thereafter gain notoriety for his own work in the entertainment sector, maintaining the family's relationship with Hollywood. Murphy, James Shannon. Their younger son was born some years later and grew up as well, keeping up his father's legacy, amazing existence that mirrored his own. Both sons were brought up with an understanding of their father's remarkable achievements, as well as the responsibilities that accompanied them. The union of Pamela and Audie lived a lot longer than his initial one, giving him a more level of one's own, happiness and family assistance. Pamela's influence in Murphy's life grew more than a wife's. She was a confidant who guided him through the frequently too much pressure to be famous, trauma, as well as societal expectations. Despite all of the difficulties Audie encountered involving persistent pain and psychological-related wounds, his family stayed a stabilizing influence. The fact that Hissens and the comparatively stable nature of his getting married to Pamela was a striking difference from his previous years and provided Murphy with a sense of tranquility and regularity. For many years, the situation. With relation to Audie Murphy's passing, among the most decorated in the world heroes of World War II and a renowned Hollywood actor, have been veiled in mystery, conjecture, and unresolved issues. Murphy's life story, climbing from a poor farm lad from Texas who went to war hero whose valor was made famous, is renowned. However, what actually occurred on the day of his passing has long been remembered as confusing enigma that left his admirers, both family members and historians, looking to make things clear. Lately, fresh data and advances in research have appeared, providing a conclusive justification. Unfortunately, the reality is much more sinister and concerning than anybody hoped. For many years, the death story of Audie Murphy was simple. On May 28, 1971, Murphy perished in a terrible aircraft accident in Virginia's Brush Mountain is close to Catawba. He was traveling in a private aircraft, A Aero Commander, a tiny twin-engine, went down while flying low in inclement weather across the mountains. Official reports blamed the pilot for the crash, mistake, and low visibility. An regrettable incident that claimed the life of a national hero at the age of 45. But suspicions and gossip spread swiftly arose, propelled by Murphy's intricate personal life, his PTSD battles from the conflict, and rumors of Darkanyun, who might have desired him quieted. As time has gone on, conspiracy theories grew. According to some, the collision was planned by intelligence services because of Murphy's purported awareness of private information while he was in Hollywood and his relationships with representatives of the government. Others proposed it was retaliation from adversaries connected to Murphy's personal commercial activities or that organized crime had targeted him. Criminal activity. These theories became popular, since a number of important aspects regarding the crash were never adequately described. Why the aircraft flew dangerously low, terrain and the pilot's irregularities, testimony, as well as the enigmatic absence of a few important pieces of wreckage at the crash scene. For many years, these persisted. There were still unanswered questions. Family members vehemently disagreed with any recommendation of malice, sticking to the story of a regrettable mishap. However, the lack of hard proof left the truth that is tantalizingly elusive. The mysteriousness clouded Murphy's legacy, making many people question whether the life of a war hero ended not just in tragedy, but in a much larger evil. Lately, a group of independent researchers inspired by developments in forensic science and declassified government access. Documents underwent a comprehensive re-examining the collision by examining pieces of wreckage, flight information, and weather. Reports using contemporary tools that weren't available at the time. They revealed startling new information that indicate intentional sabotage as opposed to mishap. The researchers found proof of interference with the controls of the aircraft, cables that are severed or hinged in a way that complies with sabotage. Furthermore, fresh interviews with witnesses who had not spoken before and retired authorities have come forward, implying that Murphy was being watched months prior to the collision. Someone who decided to come forward as a whistleblower following decades of silence, it was discovered that Murphy had discovered sensitive details about the secret government operations, rendering him a risk to certain influential groups. The testimony of the whistleblower revealed a terrifying image of a planned cover-up to portray Murphy's passing as Assad incident as he was being silenced forever. The consequences of these disclosures are quite disturbing. Audie Murphy was praised for his bravery. On the battlefield, it seems that betrayed by forces with the intention of deleting him. The enigma that was once portrayed as a terrible mishap now exposes a sobering fact, one of plot, treachery, and calculated aggression. This somber reality taints their collection of Murphy's last moments, swapping out the picture of a hero that was lost to fate, involving a man enmeshed in a web of danger and political intrigue. Additionally, Murphy's family has been affected by deep. They battled for years with sorrow and unresolved issues. Now faced with the fact that foul play, they're calling for an entire public investigation and fairness for the man who put all on the line for his nation, only to receive betrayal in exchange. The historians and both military professionals are going back to Murphy's heritage, considering how this new knowledge that aligns with the larger Hollywood's role in the Cold War American context connections to governmental organizations and the frequently concealed risks that the public faces characters who went too far. The ultimate resolution for the Audie Murphy mystery, as opposed to providing resolution and tranquility, unleashes a cascade of problematic issues with power, trust, as well as treachery. What was once believed to be a tragic yet simple accident now appears as a somber reminder that heroes can occasionally become victims of evil that extend well beyond the battleground. The whole Audie story, Murphy's passing, might never be fully recognized, but the disturbing reality that has come to light at last casts a lengthy overshadow his valiant legacy, and it's definitely not good.